This is my town. I've lived here my whole life, 53 years. And it's awesome. But today, I want to ask you a question. Are you happy? Do you feel like you let people down on a regular basis, even when you try as hard as you possibly can? Do you feel like no matter what you do, it's never enough for some people? Do you feel like you're never going to be happy? That even when you do your best, people may not say it to you, but you suspect that they're saying nasty things about you. Welcome back to the channel. I'm David, and I'm the Hope Coach, and I'm here to help you rediscover who you are, help you rediscover your happiness, help you on a journey to recovery from where you are now that could be a dark place, or just a place that you're not satisfied with, and you know there's something better for you out there. So what do you do when somebody in your life is just never satisfied with however much you do? We spoke recently about giving, and that you should only give when your cup is full, and give from the overflow. And whenever it goes below full, you need to recharge yourself. And today is something similar. The people who have clicked on this title have done it because they're givers. You're loving people. You will love people until it hurts. And that's not right. That's not healthy. And it's not going to give you a life of great joy. So what are some of the strategies that I've had to adapt into my life to help me stop hurting myself, my wife, my family, when I've become a shell of myself because I've given too much? So the first thing that I do on a regular basis, I work out factually, not emotionally so much, factually, if the person is worthy of my help. Some people are absolutely worthy, other people are absolutely not worthy. And why do I start there? Well, one of my colleagues in the cleaning game yesterday was telling me that he just can't pick people who are going to turn nasty. And so I think it's really good up front to gauge whether the person you're intending to help, that's seeking help, is worthy of your help. Now, sometimes you're going to get tricked and they're going to turn on you. So that's when you still need to be very factual, and that's where you need to cut them off. It's the healthiest thing for you, and quite honestly, it's the healthiest thing for them. Cut them off. And don't go back to them until they prove they are worthy of you in their life again. Because they will. They'll make you feel terrible. I'm not in the habit of blocking numbers on my phone, but that is a tactic you can use. to stop them contacting you. You can stop visiting the places where you know that they'll be. You can stop using your energy to feed their trauma. So it's really important to get very factual here, because when it's emotion based, you will tend to side with your previous self that will be willing to help anybody and start giving to them again. And it just feeds that toxicity and never overwhelms their trauma. And it brings you down, and it brings you into a dark place. So stop, assess, be factual, and cut them off as fast as you possibly can. There are other circumstances where this can happen in different forms. It can be in the workplace. It can be with your family. So in the workplace, you might have a habit of helping that poor dear soul that just never seems to be able to do their job properly, that's always on the edge of being terminated, that just struggles. Well, do you know what? The reality is some people just aren't cut out to be in the job that they're in. They won the job based on a 5-minute interview, a 10-minute interview, whatever it is, but they didn't necessarily have to demonstrate that they were able to do the job. And even if they're given a few months to learn the job, they often slip through the net because they're nice, seemingly nice, they're fragile people that people just want to help. And often managers are too scared to talk to the person honestly and say, I don't think you're a good fit for the job. So I'm telling you now, if you're feeding a person who isn't cut out for a job, then you may be actually harming them and stopping them from finding a job that they actually thrive at. Have you ever thought about it that way? So quite literally, I would suggest stopping using your energy to keep them in that job. Because I know that you don't want to harm them, but you may inadvertently be harming them. And the reason I say that is because people, once they've got a job, are often afraid to leave it. Even if it's not what they love doing, even if they're not suited to it, even if they just don't have the skill for it, and absolutely if they don't have a passion for it. Passion for me is key. Anything I do, I want to do with passion. And if it's boring to me, I stop it. I'll outsource it now because I know that's a clever way of doing it. But stop feeding those people, lifting them up just to keep them continually suffering. There are people who just never get it, but they might get it in a different job that they are passionate about. Now, we being really nice people, we don't want to have any confrontation with anybody. So I suggest that before you cut them off, have some strategies in place. And what's worked well for me is I will literally stop asking the person how they're going. I will literally stop engaging with them in friendly banter. I will certainly not be asking them how their work is going. As soon as you do that, that opens up that door again for you to do their work for them. And I'm not saying that you doing their work for them is wrong. But let's keep thinking about from their perspective. Are you really helping them if you're keeping them in a job they're not suited to? Now, so far I've spoken about strategies that essentially alienate them from you, them from your energy. But what if they come to you and they ask why you've stopped talking to them, why you've stopped being interested in them? Well, the first response to that is something I find simple. I just say to them, look, I'm finding more and more that I need to focus on my own work. I've got my own problems. I'm just dealing with some things at the moment. And that's high enough level for them to get the message that you're not going to be available for them. And I think that's healthy. That's just my perspective. The second reason that I do that is so that they will then learn to stop coming to you, because it's a habit. Water finds the easiest way to get through something. A person who's not confident or competent in what they're doing will find the easiest way to survive without a drastic change to their life. And what I'm suggesting to you is this is an act of love to go silent on them, to withdraw from them, and to let them listen to what's going on in here so that they realize that this job is not for them. And without you being a support for them, perhaps their manager will have the courage to be a manager and work them out of the organisation for the strength of the organisation. Because these people are actually a brake on success. They stop the organisation from thriving. I know it in my own organisation. If I've got an employee who's constantly on the phone, who doesn't clean windows well, who can't operate the equipment properly, if I've given them enough time to become competent, enough education to be competent, then I need to have a talk to them and say, look, I don't think that this is something that is suited to you. You're a lovely person, but you just don't have that level of detail required to give our clients a great experience. Again, it's from a place of love, firstly towards them so that they can find a job that is better suited to them, but also to protect the organisation. If they drag the organisation down with them, then everybody loses their job and I lose everything. So it's an act of love from me to my whole organisation, and it's an act of love from you to your organisation when you have the courage to withdraw your help and your energy from these people. What if it's a family member? Well, we've just gone through Christmas, and you hear in the lead up to Christmas over and over, and then the aftermath of Christmas, that, oh, I had to see Uncle so-and-so, had to hang out with my family, I don't get along with my brother, we haven't spoken in X years, oh, my whoever gets drunk, too drunk, and just says really inappropriate things. You know, you think about it, you hear these conversations all the time. Fortunately for me, I don't have anybody in my family that I'm not happy to be around, but there are people in my family that don't show up for Christmas, and I think that's a sensible thing. If you're doing it in a healthy way, there's no law that says you need to get together on this day, at this time, for this reason, to be a human being. In fact, it takes a lot of courage to say, look, I'm not in the right headspace, I'm not in the right frame of mind, I'm not in a good place at the moment, not in a healthy enough position to give my energy to a group of people at this time. Now, again, that's high enough level for people to realise you've sent a bit of a warning shot there, and you have a really good reason for not being there at Christmas time or birthdays or whatever the occasion is. So if you're feeling the trauma of needing to be around family but not ready to, I would say, again, use that cup analogy. Check first that your cup is full. It's the healthiest thing to do, to fill your cup up before you give anything to other people. So going silent, moving away from the situation, withdrawing yourself from the situation is a powerful and often healthy thing to do. It's a great practice to rediscover who you are. It's a great sign of love that you can give to the other people for them to realise perhaps they're not in the right situation, perhaps they're not behaving properly, perhaps, fill in the blank. And I would encourage you to go silent. I would encourage you to withdraw healthfully. I would encourage you to cut off and stop the giving that is hurting you, so that you can find your joy again, so that you can thrive, so that you can have a life that you love living. If you found help with this video today, I would love it if you do me a favour. Would you go to the comment section and put in there one word, and that is withdraw. I know that it can have negative connotations to it, but when it's done properly, it can be really healthy. So if you go to the comment section and put in the word withdraw, it would really help me. And it would help the algorithm, because it'll know that you're finding value. It'll send you more of this type of content. And it will also help others discover this content. Thank you so much for watching today. I love you. I'm praying for you. I think about how I can help you all the time. I love doing this. So support me and I'll be there for you. Hope Coach out.